If I'm not doing anything wrong or I'm not involved in any kinds of crimes, why should I be afraid of mass surveillance? This is the line that many people are saying for mass surveillance. Why should you be concerned, and why is mass surveillance bad? That's today's topic on TopEvt. Stay tuned. We all know that shoplifting is really common in stores, and stores have security in place to prevent or stop the shoplifting that happens. Now imagine this, you go into a store and you're trying to do your weekly shopping. You are going into a supermarket and you're trying to do your weekly shopping. The security guard is following you and in fact walking with you every step of the way. He is looking at what you're picking, what you're putting into your shopping cart, and he is even keeping track of the pricing and everything that is happening. He's doing all of this so that at the end of the day when you check out, you are not stealing anything. And because every customer is potentially a shoplifter, the store is employing this kind of tactics. Would this make you comfortable, or would this be a really uncomfortable situation? Wouldn't you feel very repulsed by this, and the feeling of disgust might be in your mind because you might be thinking they are not trusting me enough and they are keeping a constant eye on me. This is the level that mass surveillance has reached nowadays. We all need safety and security, and we all want to protect our own nations against external threats and internal threats alike. But mass surveillance is not exactly the answer for providing this. Under mass surveillance, everyone is a potential threat, so it treats everyone like criminals. There is no trust on any person. So you are constantly being watched, and everything that you do, every digital trace that you are leaving is always stored, so you cannot delete anything or remove anything or change anything. People's minds always change. Today I might be supporting something, tomorrow I might not be supporting the same thing. But letting mass surveillance work on you, your profile is never changeable. So in short, you will never have a free range of choice. That will be taken away from you. And contrary to popular belief, mass surveillance actually doesn't help stop these terrorists. There is no proof that mass surveillance has helped to stop any terrorist attack or similar attacks. Case in point, the Paris attacks. Before the attacks in Paris, the security services identified the suspects but ruled them out. So they were actually in the potential threat list, these people who caused the attack, but they were ruled out. The truth is, our governments are gathering information that they couldn't dream of decades ago, and they actually don't know what to do with it. The entire success of mass surveillance actually rests on a false choice, that is safety or freedom. Safety and freedom are not either or. You can have both of these together. It doesn't have to be a choice between safety and freedom. All societies should have a balance of safety and freedom. Because if you don't have freedom, it's actually a dictatorship and not a democracy. Mass surveillance can be used for controlling what the people do. If a government wants to stir up the population and drive votes for it, it could just release some kind of a photoshopped image that will stir up the public's emotion and get an emotional reaction out of the public, and thereby winning the elections. That could be possible. Through mass surveillance, they could actually know what actually would be the topic that would stir up the public, and thereby taking control away from the public and giving it totally to the people who are in power. Mass surveillance also threatens to take away the free online speech and the freedom that you have right now. If mass surveillance gets more evolved, what happens is, if someone speaks an idea against what the government or the authorities want, they could just detect it at the first moment when it is just conceived, and they could just eliminate it. Imagine that you want to blow a whistle on something that is really detrimental to the entire public, and you are trying to disclose this information. As soon as you write it down, if you are in mass surveillance, they could just detect this and they could pin you down and they could eliminate you. So the truth will never come out. And now governments are going one step further and asking big companies like Apple to work around the security that they created so that they could access files that are not accessible before. Governments are trying to get encryption to be stopped, and this is actually against the conventional security thinking. If you try to create a backdoor for a government agency or any person, it's not just a government agency who can exploit that weakness. Any person who has that kind of brains could exploit that same weakness and gain access to the information that is locked away. So beating up encryption or stopping encryption is not the right way to go. In fact, we should actually have more stronger encryption so that these online data leaks may not happen. Mass surveillance is also really costly. Storing all of these data files and creating server mainframes and all equipment that is necessary to get these mass surveillance in place is not cheap. It is estimated that the NSA is spending more than $1 billion every year. Similarly, all of the world's governments are spending millions of dollars on mass surveillance to store this data. And now they don't just have to store the data, they have to analyze this real time. So they have to build equipment for that, they have to find efficient ways for that. All of this research actually costs money. It is not free. They also have to reroute all of the data traffic through these programs. So that is also not cheap. So they are spending, all of these governments collectively might be spending billions and billions of dollars for mass surveillance. Money that could be used to help the poor or solve many other problems that the planet is facing right now. And now to counter the opening statement that we hear many people who are for mass surveillance say that if you are not doing wrong, or if you are not a criminal, if you are not doing anything wrong, then why are you afraid of mass surveillance? Okay, think about this. You are just surfing the internet and trying to find out more about the ISIS attack and what exactly is happening. So you go to YouTube and you start browsing some videos. One of these videos is just a documentary about ISIS or what ISIS is. You watch it, you close it, and you move forward in your life. Later on, this video gets renamed to Joining ISIS or I am part of ISIS or some kind of a heading like that. If that happens, the mass surveillance system will register that you have watched a video that is pro-ISIS, so you must be ISIS. And then they can track you down, and through this internet behavior they will actually be tracking you down, and they could actually catch you saying that under the false pretension that you are actually a person of ISIS. By saying yes to mass surveillance, you are giving away your freedom to defend yourself. That is not the right way. Let us all collectively think about mass surveillance and form our own views about mass surveillance. Let's not just think about what the others are doing and let's do the same. If everyone is going for mass surveillance, I should also be mass surveillance. Let us all think and form our own opinions. Is this the government that you want? Is giving away your freedom acceptable to you? What do you think is the right way? Is this kind of surveillance bad or good? Or will it lead to a safer world? Or is it just going to be a world where people are going to be crushed and there won't be any freedom of speech? Please leave your comments in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. This was Jamie for TopEvt. We hope you have a nice day.